Monday, it's your weather meteorologist, Matt Wintz. Good to be with you guys tonight. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. I know it's beginning to, well, it's not beginning to look a lot like Christmas, but it's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas. And I hope you got all your errands done. I'm sure there was just lots of running around and craziness, as there always is this time of year. Weather has not been a part of the forecast. We've had a lot of clouds around over the last week, but things are really going to start to change. We've been highlighting this since last Sunday night. We've been talking about this chance of a pattern change moving in this week, and that's exactly what we have. Everything looks on track. So we're going to cover a lot about that. We're going to talk about not just this week in terms of the pattern change. We're also going to talk about our white Christmas chances in terms of snowfall. We're going to have some around, so we'll cover that, and we'll do it all here in this Sunday evening edition of Region Weather Live. All right, welcome in, everybody. Good to be with you this evening. I hope you, had a couple of off from work if that happens to be the case, and that you're not, overwhelmed with tasks and stuff like that. We're feeling good in our household. Everything is great. Got to spend some time with family this weekend, and it really has been great. So, JK, hello to you. Thanks for joining us. Don Z on our YouTube channel. Appreciate you joining us. Deshaun, hello to you as well. Hope you guys are all doing well. Let's dive into it here in terms of the forecasting. I'm going to pull up the maps. Also, as always, want to thank our sponsors. We've got 4 wonderful sponsors right now. Our newest is Ewing Residential Services. If you have anything related to furnace or anything indoor atmosphere, whether you're zapping yourself on everything and you want a humidifier installed, they do it all. So reach out to them if you ever have any problems with anything, again, that has to do with your indoor environment. We focus on outdoor. They focus on indoor. It's ewingresidentialservices.com. Pretty easy, right? They're local, family owned. Also, Discovery Travel. They're a wonderful travel agency right here in Northwest Indiana. Why do we need a travel agency? Because they will take care of everything. They'll find you the cheapest prices, hotel, airlines, you name it. If you only want them to do one of those things, they'll do that as well. And obviously, they'll adjust the price on that. They're totally worth it. They take the stress out of traveling. And you can find them as well. They're on Facebook. It's facebook.com/discoverytrvl. Or discoverytrvl.com to start planning your trip away from the snow and cold as soon as possible. Tiger Plumbing, you know them. It's tigerplumbing.net. They come out for free. They're wonderful. You all love them. If you need a plumber, we've got you covered there as well. And then Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, wonderful car dealership that specializes in 4-wheel drive Jeeps. How great does that sound this time of year? Haven't needed a couple of decent changes. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. All right, Amanda, thanks for joining us. Chrissy, I'm sorry, I am going to use the S word today. It's that time of year. We're going to, and then Sarah, let's cover that. Let's jump right into it. So, guys, here's what we're dealing with tonight. Our house system. This system is a big one out in the western U.S. right now. You can see it here on satellite, digging into California because it goes all the way back to Hawaii. Just deep moisture coming into Southern California. It's the mountains, all that air goes up. They've got heavy snow, heavy rain, wind out there as well. And they're expecting in the Sierra Nevadas, they've already had a couple feet, but they're expecting 4 to 5 feet of snow up in the mountains of California from this. So good for the snowpack out there, so good for the drought. That system translates eastward as we go throughout the week. That's going to be our big storm across the plains that we've been highlighting. We'll have a blizzard on the northern side of this. We'll have a severe weather component on the southern side. We fall in between both of those, but at the end of this, we're going to be the recipients of what the system brings to everyone in the eastern half of the country, and that is the real first cold shot of air and the first kind of setup that brings cold air that stays, right? And that's, if we want snow this time of year, that's what we have to have. We can't have these little piddly systems that bring one day of cold, you get some snowflakes, it accumulates a little bit, then it all melts the next day. Okay? All right, so let's get that out of here. My computer's been updating for the last 25 minutes, so if it's a little bit slow, I think it's done, so that's great. But just let me know if you're having connection problems. Again, my wife and I are trying to figure this out. The internet just so spotty down here. It wasn't the first 2 weeks. I think we've got too many Christmas lights connected, so yeah, that'll be over in a couple weeks. Anyway, all right, so let's get to the maps. Here we go. Where does that system go from here? So let's talk big picture thinking first, then we'll go kind of into details. You can see it here out west. This is tomorrow. By Tuesday, it's kind of coming out in the plain states. We get Gulf of Mexico connected. So we start to bring some moisture in there. By Tuesday night, this is a full-blown system out in the plains. You have severe weather in the leading edge. You have blizzard, very heavy snow in the northern end. Big wind component to this as well. It's going to take up a lot of real estate in terms of the strong winds across a good portion of the center half of the country, from the southern plains to the upper Midwest. So that's Tuesday. Wednesday, it comes a little bit closer. We start to get a little bit of rain. We'll talk about that again. I'm just looking big picture at this storm. More severe weather down towards the south, more blizzard towards the north, and then the sync kind of elongates and unwinds, all right, as we get in the latter half of the week. The colder air on the backside of this, look at this cold component, the country, and then starting to dig into northwest Indiana, we'll have this cold air with this large footprint of just light to moderate snow. The blizzard component will be lost at this point. I think they'll still have blizzard conditions out in the plains with some of the winds, but the real compact part of this low that produces that blizzard up in North and South Dakota, I think that will be gone. We'll have heavy snow in Wisconsin at this time, but there you go. All right, so let's go into details with this. I'm going to go back to the 12Z run. This gives us a couple more hours on it so we can actually look at it. And this is updated information. And then let's get into northwest Indiana. Let's get a little bit closer here. We're going to talk snowfall totals. We're going to talk white Christmas chances. We'll cover all that. This whole Region Weather Live is going to be based on this storm. And then we're going to look beyond to Christmas week to talk about that pattern, okay? And as always, if you guys have any questions, throw them in the chat. Wait for it, though, because I don't always see what we're talking about right now. So towards the end of this, ask your questions. Be happy to answer. And then we're done, okay? We're on our way on our Sunday evening. Okay, so on a local component, what can we expect? Next 2 days look dry, no problems. We'll be in the 40s, right? Much of where we've been. The real part of the storm starts to move in here Tuesday night. So Wednesday morning we wake up. That's when we're starting to feel the impacts of this storm. Doesn't look like a big wind component early Wednesday, but as we go throughout the day, that wind will start to pick up. Here's Wednesday morning now. You notice we've got some rain moving through. I don't really see a rumble chance with this, any thunder or lightning. I think the most that will be down towards the south where there's better dynamics. Again, there is a chance, a slight chance as this system moves through that we could get a little convective line in here, but I don't see anything thunder related as of right now. I do see rain though. That moves in again Tuesday night and especially Wednesday morning. By Wednesday afternoon, this first chunk, I wish I could use my hands on a map. I can't. I'm going to use my mouse cursor right in here. This first chunk of energy kind of pushes out and heads into drier air, so that goes away. There's a renewed low that develops along this, and I said renewed. I hope that everything didn't catch out. It's not a nude low. It's a renewed low, and you can see that kind of develops down towards Missouri. What that's going to do for us, we're going to get our round of rain on Wednesday, okay? We'll probably have a round of rain, and then we'll just get kind of showery. We're still on the warm side of this, so we'll be into the 40s. There's not a huge warm component, but we should be mid-upper 40s as it looks right now. But watch what happens with the secondary low that develops. Right in here, you notice there's kind of this heavying up of the precip, and that will bring another round of rain in here, some pretty solid rain as it looks right now. That would be Wednesday night into Thursday. So we're going Tuesday night through Thursday early morning with rain in some capacity. Not a washout, not all hours will be constant, but a couple waves of rainfall around here, right? Thursday's the day of change. So Thursday's the day that our temperatures start to fall pretty quickly at that. The cold air, it'll be much colder in areas like Austin, Texas, than it will be here on Thursday morning. Pretty interesting, right, as this cold air dives in. So temperatures will come down on Thursday. We'll eventually lose our rainfall chance. The wind doesn't look to be too big of an issue. You can see these black lines on here. Those are the isobars. When they're really tightly packed like they are up here in the Dakotas, that's the wind. Where they're kind of stretched out. It's not windy. And this low is interesting because it has a lot of wind with it in general, but the fact that this low comes in and then it just kind of stretches out and elongates means we're not going to see a lot of strong wind with this. We will on Wednesday. It's going to be gusty with that warm component, but once this low gets over us, the winds go kind of light. We'll be in what we call the dry sector of the storm system, so you get this dry air that kind of pushes into the storm, hits that cold air out towards the northeast. So they're going to have an ice storm in Pennsylvania. New England, snow from this. Michigan getting snow at this point. Again, this is Thursday. But for us, we kind of quiet down and it looks kind of chill. We'll be in the middle of this big low pressure and it's going to be kind of quiet around here. So pretty interesting there. But then by Thursday night and Friday, that's when the cold air comes in. There is going to be some snow with this. And you can see here, this is Thursday night. This is Friday morning now. This back half of the storm system is now wrapping into our region. And you can see some of the light snow breaking out in a pretty wide footprint of light snow. The radar, I think, will just be full of snow showers that, it snows, it stops, it snows, it stops. It'll turn a little bit more blustery. The cold air is here. So as we go into Thursday night and Friday, that's when we really start to feel winter's back, right? Temperatures are going to be much colder. We'll have flakes flying. I don't see a big lake effect component to this yet on Friday, but watch what happens on Saturday. The snow's still around the Great Lakes flying around. We develop in Michigan. This doesn't look like a LaPorte or even Porter County problem. And then you see the snow in Lake Erie heading towards Buffalo. Everything's got kind of that westerly component to it. And we'll have some snowflakes around. But that's it. We're locked into the cold air. And then next weekend, on Saturday, it looks like the snow will come to an end. We'll probably have some sunshine. And you notice another system off towards the north on Sunday misses us. And there's not a lot going on other than cold air. The cold air will be here. So that's not going away. So any snow that we do get on the ground Friday into Saturday is going to stick around. But there's not a lot of snow. There's not a lot of moisture with this air mass once it moves by. It just stays cold and kind of dry. Couple systems to watch. This one right here is interesting. There's something that comes in here Monday into Tuesday next week. And then, maybe something else after that. There's no big signal for a big storm system as of right now. Again, this is Christmas week now. We're now at Tuesday the 20th. But if you join me on this was last Sunday, I was talking about how the models look like it was going to not just bring cold air in here, but what that's going to do is set us up for success in terms of future snow over the next week and a half by laying that storm track down to the south. The storm track's been way off towards the north all fall so far, right? But what it's going to do is it's going to lay that storm track down to the south. So all the storm systems, right, the low pressures, look to travel with the storm track being south down here. So what does that mean for us? Any storms that develop across the southern half of the country over the next week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks or so, this goes beyond Christmas. It looks that we would be on the snowy side of things where we could get some decent storms with some decent snow rather than, going to rain and then snow, then rain and snow. We're on the good side of it if you like snow and if you want a white Christmas. It looks like any preset that falls from Friday all the way through Christmas would be snow. The problem is, if you want a white Christmas, is that I don't see a lot of signals for snow as of right now. The stuff on Friday looks to be snow showery. It doesn't look to put down a huge accumulation. The stuff on Saturday doesn't look that bad, right? I think there'll be snowflakes flying. We'll have some snow showers, but I don't see any big, robust accumulations out of this. However, as we get into the Christmas week, we will be set up for success to have some kind of storm travel. So does this, whatever the signal is here, the storm looks on the 20th, it doesn't look right, telling me the modeling is not quite right on this because it's far off in the future, right? But does this become our storm? Do we actually get some snow out of this? Does this little wave right here come a little bit further south? So I want to play kind of devil's advocate here, and I want to show you the GFS model. Okay, this is the American model. The American model is not as accurate as the Euro. Some things it is, some things it's not. It's kind of wacky though, and I've always said that. I've always leaned Euro model, but we're going to look at this because sometimes it is right and sometimes it picks up on things. So here's our storm system this week. I'll zip through that. It picks up on that second wave of low pressure. There's our quiet Thursday into Friday. Here comes the snow on Friday. Again, this is a different model we're looking at. Just widespread snow showers. Could we get accumulation out of that? Sure. It looks light on all things considered, but we could get some for sure. But the GFS goes a little bit further. So this will take us all the way through Christmas, okay? Snow showers still hanging around Saturday. I agree with that. Sunday, everything kind of starts to clear up. You notice how everything's heading out towards the east. We dry up. Next Monday, this is the 19th. Not much going on. And then remember, the Euro had that weird-looking system on Tuesday, Wednesday. The GFS doesn't have that at all. That's why I don't really think that system looks right. But what the GFS does have, naturally, is a storm for us on Christmas Eve. Okay? So here's the 22nd. This is what I'm talking about. Storm tracks down to the south. So if we get something like this, we're on the cold side, so we get the snowy part. So this is Friday the 23rd, and the GFS, I'm not getting into specifics with this, but I will look at it. GFS has some real cold air in here, and it has moderate snow coming through here on the 23rd that lasts through early Christmas Eve day. And then the GFS also keeps this low around the Great Lakes, which would bring some perhaps lake effect snow and more snow showers around here Christmas Eve night into Christmas Day. All right. And this develops this big storm that brings snow down towards Atlanta on Christmas. I mean, come on, maybe not. We'll see, right? Boy, would that be nice for them down south? And then you notice the lake effect behind that. But the thing that we notice in the GFS and the Euro alike is that this cold air gets here and it stays. It sticks around for at least a week where we're below freezing, which means anything that falls will stay frozen and it will be in the frozen type, right? Snow. So let's finally, the last thing I want to cover here is I want to talk totals, just model totals. We're going to look for trends. Okay. We're not going to say, hey, the GFS is saying we're going to get 12 inches of snow by Christmas. That's it. We don't look at it again. No, this just shows trends. So I want to look at, let's just look at the GFS. We know that's the snowier model. So here you go. This is over the course of Thursday and Friday. Here's our snow showers on Friday. You can see amounts are light, maybe a half inch, maybe an inch at best from those snow showers that move through Friday and the Saturday. And remember, this is our snowiest model too. So I'm going to run this all the way through Christmas Day. And you can see that's how much snow that the GFS is saying is going to be around or have fallen from the sky by Christmas Day. So it's got some good totals up where lake effect country is. Oh, just a general 30 in Wisconsin and Minnesota. That could happen. They're going to get some pretty decent snow from this, but it has a good 3 to 6 inches on us. The other thing we can look at is snow depth. So this is how much is on the ground. The numbers are going to be lesser here because there's going to be some melting involved. But the GFS is saying on Christmas Day, we're going to have anywhere from 3 to 5 inches of snow on the ground. But you compare that with the Euro, and the Euro is much less. I think the Euro is going to give me the 18Z, so that doesn't go far enough. Here we go. So this is the Euro run, and this goes all the way through the 23rd, I believe. Let's zoom it forward here, the 21st. So it doesn't go quite as far. It doesn't capture that Christmas Eve storm that the GFS is showing, but you can see much lighter amounts. So this is kind of what I'm leaning towards right now, is that we're not going to see a lot of snow this weekend. We're not going to see a lot on Friday or Saturday. It's not going to be a big snowmaker. That's going to be your pattern change maker. So that brings the cold air in. Doesn't bring a lot of snow, but it brings the cold, which in turn could set us up for some kind of snow Christmas week. Okay. So 2 necessary steps. Step 1 is this weekend. We get the cold air in here. Again, not a lot of snow. Step 2 is we need to get some kind of system south of us Christmas week to get a white Christmas. And that's what would bring it to us. Okay. So chances of a white Christmas locally, I'm going to put at a pretty hefty 65 to 70%, which is way above average. Our average white Christmas chance around here is, I think, around 40%. If you're in the snow belt, it's around 40. I think it's like 25 to 35%. We don't always see a white Christmas. And this year I would put it at above average because at least we're going to have the cold. We have to watch the modeling to see if it develops some kind of storm system next week. Okay. And that's still fantasy land in terms of the models. So that's what we're looking at. Okay. So feel free to ask your questions, whatever you guys have for me, be happy to answer for you. And then we'll, celebrate Sunday night, everybody. Hope you're ready for the work week. I know it's just getting exciting. There's that energy in the atmosphere about not just snow coming, but Christmas is on its way. We're getting there. And any of you that have kids, I think you're certainly living that out. I'm so excited for our kids this year. I got at least 2 of them that are in the age that's just that special magical age, and brings it back as a parent too. So super excited. All right, so here we go. Derek, doing great, buddy. Thank you very much. Andrew, all right, best guess on White Christmas. I've got a new snowblower I'm ready to use. Now, Andrew, because you have a new snowblower, that factors into the forecast model. So, for forecasting, we use these giant algorithms, for all these different model parameters and stuff like that. And if you buy a new snowblower, that goes into the algorithm. So if you buy one and you let me know that you bought one, that lowers our White Christmas chances. That, in fact, lowers our total storm, our total seasonal snowfall total as well. Because a lot of times people buy those and then you never use it. I just got a new one too, to be honest with you. We have a much longer driveway here at our new house. So there you go. Sarah, I hope that answered your question. Still too early to tell, on the White Christmas part, but we're set up for success. Let's put it that way, because the cold air is going to be here to stay through Christmas. And we just have to wait and see. The Euro doesn't go far enough yet, but I would say by the end of this week, we'll have a good idea on what the storm systems are going to look like next week. And then we'll have a pretty good idea on, if we're in the running for it. Okay. Andrew, it's awesome. Deshaun, you're welcome. Absolutely, for sure. All right. Well, I don't see anything else coming in, and I think my signal held out, so there's good news. I appreciate you guys as always. I hope this was helpful. I always do. I hope you get something out of this, and I don't always want to talk for, however long we've been going, 10, 15, or 20 minutes now on just a forecast, but I like to throw the meat and potatoes in there as well. So you're looking at the models, so you have a good idea of what we're looking at on our phones, right? When we're looking at that daily forecast that keeps changing. Those are the things that we're watching, and usually the big picture tends to help me to kind of organize the week in weather and kind of what we're watching weather-wise, and I hope that helps you as well. Okay. All right, guys, don't forget to check us out on the radio side of things. We're on Northwest Indiana Radio in the mornings and all day. We have updates, which is pretty special. And then check out regionweather.com. I appreciate it. I think we had 210 new subscribers over the last week. I just redid regionweather.com. It's wonderful now. It's a wonderful resource for you. I don't do it for me. I do it for you guys. All sorts of things on there for you. And we have daily updates on there as well. So regionweather.com, there's a little box off to the side where you can subscribe. And what that does is whenever I post an update, whatever it happens to be on there, which I don't try to do I don't want to over spam your inbox, but it'll send you an email and it'll have the title. You click on it. You can do it on your phone, and it has a quick little short and sweet article on whatever the weather happens to be for Northwest Indiana, right? It's not Chicago bias or anything like that. So there's that for you, okay? All right. I appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful Sunday night. We'll be back with you again this week, and obviously we'll have forecasts all week for you as well. All right.